My name is Zanele Luvuno. I have been in business probably for over 2 decades. I am primarily in the people space, people talent, solutions centered around that. But I have a broader business portfolio where I also am involved in e-commerce as well as property investments. I did recently start a new business initiative which is in the people space. The name of the business is Metamorphosis Integrated Solutions. Having been in the people business, I think for the last 2 decades, I've seen a shift in the human capital space. As we move into the age of information, it's all about innovation. It's about innovative people that are going to come up with innovative concepts that are going to change the world. And I think we need to then, as organizations, as individuals, relook at how we approach careers and how we approach work and the space that we occupy in terms of work in our lives. And so the business is really centered around solutions that can help organizations shift, whether it's culture, whether it's leadership, as well as individuals as we move into this new age. So in terms of the work that I have done, I have an executive search background, and in that particular background, and I think it's kind of been the golden thread that's run throughout all the things that I've done, is that we've had a very strong focus of putting women into leadership positions and putting women into opportunities, whether it's business opportunities, board positions, etc., to try and create that critical mass of women in the top tier of South African business. And so I think I can very specifically give numbers and data, to say I have put X number of women onto boards of listed businesses or X number of women into leadership positions, and that's really been the key way in which I've made a difference. Challenges, I think plenty. So some specific to being a woman, some specific to being a black woman, socioeconomic challenges. I think we function pretty much in a patriarchal society, and it's been incredibly difficult to get the opportunities, right, that may be presented to a man. So I had to fight harder, scrap harder, demand your seat at the table, really. And it hasn't been easy. Having to continuously justify why you're at the table, why you're seated there. I think that's been the hardest battle. There have been other challenges, like raising capital to start businesses, finding the right people. But because I'm in the people game, the people part's easy. Raising capital is easy. I think it's really been about just being able to take up space. And very often we're not allowed to take up space, and so you have to kind of push your way through, and as you can imagine, that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. But you've got to really decide what's important to you. Are you determined to take up space? Are you determined to drive what it is that you want to do for yourself and achieve for yourself? Or are you more focused on the likability aspect? And obviously, if you want to succeed, you have to be clear about who you are, stand in your truth, and find a way to forge forward. And the most important power that we have as human beings is to know yourself. When you know who you authentically are, it's very difficult for external circumstances to be able to disempower you. And I think a lot of the disempowerment one is faced with in business is when we give our power away to situations. So we have imposter syndrome, or we feel that, we don't really belong at the table, or that somebody's doing us a favor, or that I need somebody to endorse me in order to be able to do X. Once you come into a sense of knowing who you are and you're quite firm in that and you know what your truth is in all situations, I think it becomes so much easier to navigate the choppy waters, if you want to call it that. I know a lot of people say it's a man's world, and so you got to learn to play a man's game, and I really don't believe that. I am a woman, I'm comfortable in that, and I believe that I can still access opportunity in my authentic nature and in my authentic self. And I think it's probably worked better for me to show up authentically than when I try and show up as somebody else. The goals I've set for myself is an interesting topic because I'm busy working those out as we speak. I have a coach, even though I am a coach, and my coach said to me about 3 weeks ago that I had kind of achieved all the things that I wanted to achieve in this chapter. And so looking around to see what comes next. And very interestingly, I think what comes next is about being able to impact greater society, have more reach, put my message and my experience out in different ways and in different forums. I think that is a big one for me. I think that those who follow after us shouldn't have to have as difficult a path as we had if we start to tell our stories. So very much focused on building an IP-driven business to be able to put the collective IP around women's stories and the knowledge that we have and that we've accumulated out into the world in order to be able to help people shift their organizations, shift their careers, and probably change a bit how we interact with work as a society. So a little bit about myself. I'm a mom. I have a son. I live in Durban. I recently moved to the coast, probably just before lockdown. Wanted to have a change in pace, change in lifestyle, wanted balance, I think. My work is great. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I'm driven about it. But a lot of the work I do is still very much in Johannesburg. And so really just looking and striving to create balance for myself in life and life in general. I love being in nature, very deeply spiritual. Start every day with about 2 hours meditative walking, meditation practices, meditate throughout my day. And yes, married recently. So I think this is a really great initiative in that it starts to create palatable role models for younger women and just younger people in general who want to get into business. And to say to people that you can do absolutely anything you set your mind to and that you want to do. I have an HR or / recruitment or people background, but I've been involved in different sectors. I've been involved in retail. I'm involved in property investments, commercial property investments, and I will do anything and everything that I want to experience in this lifetime. That I set my, that I set my sights on, and would want to encourage others to do the same.